All right.
Yes! We did it! Oh, let's do the intro.
Oh!
Let's do the intro. Dun, dun,
Feels so
dun,
good.
dun, 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 dun.
Oh, it feels good. Right when the lobbies restart. Oh, perfect.
Everyone's misqualified, but it doesn't matter. I can hear myself on the stream as well. We did it.
We fixed it. Oh, what a time to be alive. Anak Jawa is playing a multiplayer in Russia. What is this? He definitely had a chance to be able to race with us.
Yeah, I call bullshit. Ban. Oh shit! Oh, no shit! Love it. The broadcast is on.
Again, this is not an official FRS broadcast, even though it kind of is, but you know.
Let's give them a fact while they're waiting.
So
Let's give them a fact while they're waiting.
Yes, they deserve a fact.
I'll give the boring ones first, because no one's watching at this point. So the capital is Brussels, and they have a population of 11,585,000, and that is the 21 estimate. So 2021 estimate. I know you're thinking, it's 2022 now. My response to you is, go fuck yourself. This isn't an official stream. We've been sitting here for 20 minutes trying to get it to work.
Yes, it's
I'll probably need to spectate. I don't want to be driving around in a hearse on a formation map. So after all that time, what we needed to do was just restart. We just reinstall Twitch. That seemed to do the trick.
Yeah, problem solved. No big deal at all. But yeah, looking at it, it looks like Povey has split the Astons.
Yeah, should we give them a rundown of the qualifiers? So P1 is Nemesis, P2 is Povey, P3 is LC Fighter, P4 Brenchel, P5 Garley, P6 is Debutant Speedy Boy, or Queasy Pluto, because Xbox. Habsvan Nick in 7th, Loki in 8th, Backwash Boy is in 9th, Spenwolf in 10th, Wolverino 11th, Death Star in 12th, Cameron Slater 13th, 14th is Racer, 15th will be Stanya, and 16th will be Cryptic. So yeah.
I think there's a couple more there too.
Oh yep, 17th is Nikita Mazepin, 18th is Sergio Perez, and 19th is Yuki Tsunoda, and 20th, rounding up the grid, is Valtteri Bottas, who, the poor bloke, he can't catch a break, starting P20.
Yep, and interestingly too, Nemesis 4/10 ahead of MJ Povey, a 142.0. Meanwhile, Povey a 142.4 and LC a 142.4 as well. So, yeah, Nemesis is looking quite quick here.
I think he self-proclaimed that he was, as far as one of his worst tracks earlier in the week. So, I don't know if that was a bit verbal sandbagging. We know obviously he did crash here in season 1, all by himself, giving Povey his first ever FOS win. So if anybody is looking for anyone to blame for Povey's dominance over the past few seasons, Nemesis it's all Nemesis' fault. Once he got his first win, he just wouldn't stop.
Yep. He turned on the afterburners and he's gone. And it looks like Nemesis is game's crashed. So
eventually we'll get going. Happy Super Bowl weekend for all that celebrate as well.
Oh yes, indeed.
Tomorrow, 11 o'clock here. I think it's 11:30 or 11. So.
Yeah, 11:30. Yep.
Yeah, if it starts 11:30, then yeah, 11:30.
Supposedly tickets are going for cheap, as nobody in LA wants to go to the game. Unfortunately, my brother is a huge Rams fan. He was a bandwagon fan back in the Kurt Warner days. He helped on the bandwagon, hasn't fallen off yet. So, Um, it'd be a perfect time for him to go catch the game. But yeah, I'm curious. Who are you pulling for in that game, if anyone at all?
Well, it's the same. Well, I just don't like the Rams are playing in their own stadium. I can't agree with that. It seemed I know it happened last year with the Bucks, but I think you got to go for the Cinderella story, the underdog story for the Bengals. The fact that they they picked in the top five last year in the draft, and now they're one game away from the Super Bowl. It's pretty impressive. And then you've got the Burrow Chase connection as well.
Yeah, yeah.
No doubt next year he'll be the New York Giants in there.
He'll carry the Giants back. Yeah, he recovers from, I don't even know what was wrong. What, torn ACL, back problems, something like that. But yeah, then he comes back and he carries the Bengals to a Super Bowl, and then he's gonna hop on over to the Giants, carry them to a Super Bowl.
I mean, we can share them the whole draft if they want. We've got two picks in the top 10.
You'll probably trade them for guys who are about to retire, anyways. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants traded their picks for Tom Brady at the Bucs, even though he's already retired. The Giants would probably find a way, I imagine.
Give us Aaron Rodgers, he will immunise the team's defence. Just give you 2 first-round picks when we haven't got anything of note that even defines a team. Oh, they're starting. Wow.
Surprisingly.
It's taken us what's half an hour.
Yes.
We're about to see some actual racing.
Yeah. And I'm kind of curious, knowing Povey, he almost forgot to put on strict track limits for the qualifying session.
Oh, good
so
God.
I wouldn't be surprised if we have randomized weather and we have a wet race, even though it's supposed to be dry. So
yeah. So when everyone's on new monsoon tyres, it's probably snowing or something. And then Cryptic's on pole.
yeah, actually, an AI would probably be on pole.
Or Bottas is on pole, isn't he? It's a reverse grid race. This is the new feature for season 5. Reverse grid. So basically, the aim is to qualify last.
Yeah, it looks like we've loaded in. I'm staring at the pit lane for some reason, and I can see cars bouncing. Looks like they're twerking over there.
Oh yeah, I mean they're just testing. This is the new 2022 cars. They bounce on the grid.
Gotta make sure the
low riders,
pole rods or whatever we're mixing up now with the new suspension setup. But yeah,
fed up with the word already from McLaren's reveal. I'm like, oh yeah.
Aston Martin, of course, is missing. I think a steering link is what they were missing on their
Red Bull's
left
missing
side,
their whole car.
Or right side. I think, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Red Bull actually that was the trophy that they got. that is
their
prize.
Car. They're just using the show car. They're like they're panicking because they're like, wait, we were allowed to make changes. They thought it was a spec series. All this, and then Hamilton just dominates round 1. Just
yeah.
And also, it'd be interesting to see the pre-season takes when Haas does a glory run at the end of the day and gets first. And so, Haas, is Mazepin going to win the championship? No.
Oh, yep. And of course, Evil Santa, what's his name again? The Rich Energy guy. He was supposed to have his livery on the Haas car.
I feel like...
or one of the cars.
I've just evaporated his name from my brain.
He tweets nothing but the truth, of course.
Is it something Story?
Yeah, William Story, something like that. Stoney.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go with it. Don't. If it's wrong, Rich Energy Man, don't sue us. Don't sue us.
Hopefully, man. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a couple of DNFs through Radeon and Rogue with the stress that these suspensions have been going through. Yeah, I feel like they've tested it enough, but they're still going. So
maybe I think everyone's car's going to break down at the start, and they're just going to be a mass pile-up. To be honest, just call it a day.
We'll have a. There's so many different Belgian races. What was it, the 98 Belgian Grand Prix where everybody crashed out or something? Some 90s race where everybody...
That sounds right, so sure.
Yeah, and then we had last year's Belgian Grand Prix
Oh, my
where
favourite
all
race of the season.
the spectators got as condolences, they got 50% off one item at F1.com or something like that.
I
But
actually think it's worse than that. I think it's like the.
oh
I
yeah,
can't remember. I don't think it was 50 cents. It's something scammy.
yeah. uh, and finally, we're going maybe. Ah, there we go. Okay.
For a minute, I panicked thinking he hadn't put the formation map on. Let's see if anybody's going to get a penalty in the top 10. Everyone's starting on soft, so well done to them. In fact, the strategies are very simple. Everyone in the top 10 is on softs, 11th to 15th on mediums, and Cryptic in the back in 16th has put softs on.
Yeah, for some strange reason with that soft there, but yeah, obviously that is the plan, or the easy strategy. It should be an easy one stop. 22 laps. Your softs should be, depending on what kind of setup you have. If you're running a broken setup like myself, your softs can go about 7 laps, but we saw others go to 8 laps in Division 2. So yeah, soft to mediums for those starting on the softs, then medium to softs for those starting on the mediums. So easy call. Obviously, always expect a safety car here. And as always, as it's been the case between Nemesis and Povey, we'll be having to keep an eye out on the track limit penalties, as that will probably decide the winner of the race. As a matter of fact, last season here at Spa, everybody had time penalties except for 2 drivers, which of course would be MJ Povey, one of them, and Issei, who is not with us today.
What?
And the driver who had the most penalties was Nemesis with 21 seconds.
I got penalty. Do you mean I got track limit penalties last season? This is.
I just looked.
What a joke! I have you know that last week in Baku I didn't get any. Didn't even get a warning. I was on full track control, and the being outside the track limits was in the wall. Did I pit 4 times? Yes. Did I get worried they're going to run out of front wings for me? Yes. But that doesn't matter. P9.
All that matters is where you finish at the end of the day, exactly.
P9 out of 9. So, an interesting thing, if you didn't see Baku last week, since I think Chuck was streaming it, was that Povey and Nemesis actually did have contact in the sprint race. That led to Nemesis retiring. So it'd be interesting to see if that no, I can't even try and say the word. If any had feelings get put over to this weekend. They both got a penalty point for it as well, as people are getting disqualified from the formation lap, which is just
the 2 Canadians. For whatever reason, I guess I gotta say, because we always say something related to current events. They're trying to start their own little convoy, hold-in, I guess, for themselves. So, anyways, that was your current event of the week. As the back of the grid is starting. Yeah. And we're about to get shut down from Twitch already. But anyways, the grid has finally formed up. Maybe we will see. There's the lights are flickering in and out. Like 5 red lights. I hate this camera angle that we're in, as it looks like Povey had a fantastic start now.
Oh, wow.
And Nemesis tried to go for the block, but Povey was too far ahead. And I am now looking through the pit walls. And okay, there we go. As they're heading up to the famous Radeon and U-Rogue, as it looks like everybody made it through relatively cleanly for the most part, as we see Loverino dropping some spots and Voki dropping some spots. There's a Haas that ran wide there. Meanwhile, picking up position while running wide there off the track, as Povey and Nemesis are still going at it. Wheel to wheel, of course, as we'd expect these two wonderful drivers, as they've been doing this entire season so far, heading up to one of the trickier corners of this track, Bruxelles, as I'm sure I'll get made fun of many times for butchering these names, as Povey's doing a fantastic job staying ahead so far of Nemesis and we have a spin off there. It looks like Cryptic.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the race have been in the gravel in the lap as well. So they're the 2 yellows you might have seen so far, and therefore they're the 2 in the back of the grid.
Yeah, thankfully it looks like Cryptic hasn't picked up any wing damage, and
he has now.
As I said that, he picks up wing damage. Yeah, of course. For whatever reason, I don't know if it came with a new handling update, but man, you get punished big time for overheating your rear tires, and the car just becomes a handful when trying to handle it now, as we're coming up to the bus stop chicane now, with MJ Povey taking the lead from Nemesis into turn 1, proving, I guess, that you can possibly win a race heading into turn 1, as Cryptic is still struggling to get back around the track this time around. But curiously enough, although we are only the second lap into the race now, LC is still hanging on to his teammate and hopefully able to pull some kind of strategy help for Nemesis. And Brenchel, too, shouldn't rule him out either, as he's in the top 5, as we expect the battle between Povey and Nemesis to also go into the Constructors' Championship between the Aston Martin and Williams teams. So, as Cryptic has retired from the session in the pits.
Yeah, he crashed into the pit lane as well. I know he made it in there, but he did crash in the pit lane. Yeah, I mean, the key for Nemesis is, takes a little look, is he just got to keep in the 1 second range until the DRS hits. Just got to make sure, just keep it in there, try and reserve as much battery as you can to just play it a bit steady, and then go for the attack once he's got DRS enabled for him. If I can get my words out.
Yeah,
you wait this long, and then just all over your words.
And we can see the time penalties already coming in. Not even finished with the second lap of the race, and yeah, they're starting to come in now, as Queasy Pluto, also known as Speedy Boy in Discord, and Bakwazi pick up the first track limit penalties of the day. And I'd expect, probably, I doubt Povey got any kind of track limits penalties in Baku, but I would expect, with how on it Nemesis has been here in Spa, that MJ might end up picking up some penalties for having to push and trying to defend against the Aston Martin driver behind, as we finally have DRS enabled. And so we are going to turn our attention back to the Aston Martin driver of QX Nemesis, the current, is he still the current championship leader after Baku?
I think it's Povey now. It's about 5 points difference in favour of Povey. I think he's a bit too far back for this attempt, because we've got a yellow flag in sector 1. It's Garley, he's out.
Yes, he is.
And the virtual safety car has been deployed.
Yep, and it looks like he has dropped it coming up out of the dangerous Radionin Europe there. So the Frenchman out with the virtual safety car being deployed, like you said there. And obviously, they're too far from the pits, and I honestly would think that probably if they were close enough, the hards just aren't the tire to be using here in Spa. Again, I'd imagine it's the mediums that you'd want.
I doubt Garley would be the first person to drop it there. If he did drop it, we don't know. There might have been contact. But yeah, I think Nemesis has got a good jump on Povey on the safety car and the virtual safety car restart.
Yeah,
the gap. Just it's about getting a couple of attempts, and he's losing them a little bit, but he can potentially set himself up really nicely for maybe not next DRS straight, but definitely down the Kemmel straight. He's got a yellow flag in sector 2.
Looks like it's Gloverino
around, yeah. Uncharacteristic mistake from Gloverino there, someone we don't really see bringing out yellow flags.
Yeah, he's always a consistent driver, and that's kind of the guys who score points here are either just alien drivers and rapid and quick, or they're just extremely consistent, like we've seen with Quimbulas and Gloverino and Brenchel and Hobbs. So, it's strange to see Gloverino dropping it there. But it looks like Nemesis is a bit too far back on the start-finish straight. And honestly, that DRS straight there is a bit too short to be able to get any kind of move done on the car ahead if you're trying to attack. But we'll see if he's able to get something done here. Again, it looks like he's too far back to Povey now. I know he's running pretty aggressive front wing setup too, with I think like 7 or 6 front wing or something like that, if I remember from his time trials. So yeah, it looks like he's looking to make up all the time in sector 2 here, like we see right now, as he's gaining a little bit of time, chipping at him at Povey ahead in the Williams there.
You just got to keep pressure on. Hopefully, get mistake. Any mistake now will put him well in range, either to even get the overtake or be setting himself up brilliantly for an overtake on one of the straights. So just got to stay with him, and it looks like overall I'd say they're quite evenly paced. With obviously there being a differential in DRS, so that'll bring them close together. So yeah, evenly matched. We've got another yellow flag, and this time it is Speedy Boy around.
Yeah, Speedy Boy in the Haas. It looks like he might have done a reset to track as his car was ghosted, and he was just perfectly put right there.
I think I saw him do a 180. To be fair, I think he actually
okay,
did a really quick 180. I mean, I don't want to big him up too much in case he resets to track. He probably doesn't know that you can't. But I think he just did a little 180.
Yeah,
but we're seeing a lot of drivers struggling, aren't we, so far? I mean, in Div 2 there was no retirements after this stage.
Yeah.
As Nemesis is in range.
And he's looking to make a move there. And it just...
I don't think that's ever going to work, but it's put Povey into a bit more defensive line. It's going to give him a better run of it.
Yeah. We're going to have, hopefully, Nemesis... Sounds
like
he...
lift, but he's got a run.
Yeah, he has the run there. He has enough ERS to be able to get that move done. Povey goes defensive, even though they're a ways back from the corner. And Nemesis has that move done on MJ Povey now, as LC is only half a second now behind Povey. I saw at one point LC was a little over a second behind Nemesis when Nemesis was in second there. But yeah, that little trade there might have helped out LC catch up and be thrown into this mess as Povey picks up a little bit of understeer now as he's experiencing the effects of that dirty air. And that might have been a reason why Nemesis opted for that higher front wing downforce, was to be able to know that he was following as we have a car round again here on this track of Cameron Slater in the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, I mean, did no one practice this week? We're seeing, I think we had a yellow over that. But for Nemesis, you could try and, well not now, but you could try and back his teammate into Povey here and make an Aston Martin 1-2, but at the same time he's pulling away decently. Obviously there's a difference in the straights as we've got a back boy is out.
Yep, and is that going to trigger any kind of yet another virtual safety car? I can't see. It looks like his car's
quite far in the distance. Yeah, I think
looks like it's well off.
It should be okay. Oh, it's disappeared, and we're back under green flag racing there. The car just vanished. Good recovery from the marshals. Top of the range marshals here at Spa.
Nice job as Death Star's left the session. I'm assuming that's just some kind of disconnect for Death Star, who's had, again, he's been another one of those consistent drivers that just has been sneaking in there, top 5 finishes, top 10 finishes, scored points every race so far, I believe.
2 P7s and P5 in Baku is his best result. So yeah, he's had the consistency, and which is one of the key things to just get the consistency, and you just keep on scoring points and points, and at the end of the season you're going to probably come away with a high championship position with all the retirements that happen every week.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's been consistent, and I think as Spin now leaves the session as well. So it looks like this lobby might be a little bit cursed.
Dropping like flies.
Yeah. As Povey on the Kimmel Straight was looking to make a move possibly, as Nemesis was under 10% ERS there, as we see the drivers starting to rejoin again. But Povey thought better of it and is just hanging back now. As we're starting to approach the pit window now for the soft tires. Going to be interesting to see who's hitting the cliffs.
Oh, Nemesis has dropped it.
Oh!
He's in the wall, I'm not sure, most likely got front wing damage. He's going to get, he's like a sitting duck in the straights now for Habs. Is Habs close enough? No, it's just LC who's going to get past him.
Yeah, on my screen,
I think he's
timing tower's a little bit broken.
He's in the pits.
He's in the pits. Yeah, and this is the time to be. We're around the pit window now. He can look for an undercut as well on Povey. Although it's not really too effective here, as the pit lane time is only like 18 seconds, I believe. It's a pretty short pit lane there, using the F1 side and not the GT pit lane. Oh, I guess it all wraps around the same way. But anyways, as they're holding him, yeah, it looks like he did end up getting
I did have front wing damage.
So, yeah, as the timing tower's finally righted itself around.
LC has a run on Povey. one Aston Martin in the lead, turning into another Aston Martin in the lead.
And they were so close, they're going in side by side. Gonna be interesting to see how they respond, especially with Povey worrying about LC behind. I don't know if he paid attention to Nemesis having to change the front wing and seeing the long pit stop. So I wonder if Povey will end up pitting and end up missing out on not seeing that wing change along pit stop and being bamboozled, I guess you could say, by luck of the draw. So yeah, this is just going to be a race for Nemesis to climb back, as he's probably just going to root and hope for his teammates to make something happen out of his bad luck with that front wing damage there, as LC is just slightly hanging on there. As we look back elsewhere, of course, as soon as we ride on board with Voki, he spins around in his Alpine as Gloverino picks up a 3-second time penalty. Thankfully, it looks like Voki was able to hit it just the right way, as Stanier, thankfully Voki was ghosted as Stanier drove through him there. And yeah, we did have a close race there, but that was, as soon as I rode on board, commentator's curse, and he dropped it.
I was about to invite Sven, but he has just joined, I think. I think I saw his name at the bottom.
Yep, I did see his name at the bottom.
Sven not being in the lobby, he is in 5th. Under attack, obviously, by his Death Star, and he's down to 5th again.
Death Star easily gets that move done there. Yeah, Death Star having a great drive on those medium tires all the way up into P4 now. And he's made great job of making up positions out of everybody else's misfortune there on those medium tires. So he is in a very nice position to score and bring home some great points, as it hopefully Spin's able to join up at some point. He did join, but yeah, like you said, there we go. He's no longer ghosted. So
that's right then.
Looks like he's back in there. But yeah, a fantastic drive so far from this Red Bull driver, as LC is still hanging on to that gearbox of MJ Povey ahead of him. Timing towers still glitched, of course. Seems like
same for me.
we are not immune from the Cody's bugs that happen on the PC side. Yeah, and obviously with the lobby reset, struggling to get the stream going, but we're here now, and there's racing going on, so we'll take what we can get.
Or maybe it's actually the track's glitch and everyone's actually in the same part of the track side by side, just driving around all side by side in the closest race in FRS history.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's happened, what was it, during the Speedway event that you put together for us, and as we see both LC and MJ Povey diving into the pits now. So as LC!
LC's crashed into the pit lane.
Oh no, is that going to be a wing change for the Aston driver there? Yes, he got a little bit too
throttle happy. Be a disaster for Aston.
As he does have to have a wing change. Oh no! This has gone from bad to worse for the Aston boys, when they looked like that they were going to have some kind of good weekend there. Yeah, it just, wow. Unfortunate luck there, as we see QX Nemesis
it's close now. Between Nemesis and Povey.
Yeah, Nemesis coming out.
Or not.
Oh yeah, not just a couple corners. I guess about 7 seconds or so behind. Or no, excuse me. Was that 3 seconds behind Povey there? As Death Star.
He has been flying along.
Yeah, Death Star.
He has passed.
He's making a great job.
Yeah, Death Star.
He's a P1 there.
I think he started on the mediums. Yeah, that checks out. Up 11 places, and has now got the lead of the race.
Yep, and Stanier, another shout there all the way up in P3. Another guy who started out on the mediums, as he's looking to also have some great luck. And I tell you what, as somebody who made the wrong call in the Division 2 race, the difference in pace between the mediums and the softs, especially at the end of the race when you have a very low fuel load, man, it is huge. So these guys, even though they still have a pit stop left, I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of them or both of them in the top 5 today.
So after we know we've got some history, but Stanier and Nemesis are actually fighting for position here. They've had some history and we're going side by side. It's going to be a close one. Stanier should back out this one, really.
As he continues to stick it in there. And there was a little bit of contact there?
Little tap.
But thankfully nobody making out. But Stanier's just not backing out as he's fighting for position here, even though he has a pit stop left. But it looks like he finally lets out as we see a little twitch of the rear there from Nemesis, which that means that this has opened the door for Hobbs fan Nick to get a run on Stanier as well, possibly, as Stanier taking a bad line coming out there. And it looks like those tires are just a bit too warm as they're starting to huff and puff now after having to put up a fight against Nemesis on those older mediums there, as Hobbs van Nick now is in a prime position to possibly and easily get that move done before even touching the DRS button there on his steering wheel as he just cruises on by Stanier there. So all of our hope for the medium runners is going to be lying on the shoulders of Death Star there, as I believe Hobbs has made his pit stop. So yes, those are new mediums. They're helping him get past Stanier and onwards towards Nemesis as well. So we might be seeing a possible Hobbs fan podium here, which is not unexpected. But
yeah. So that's the outcome for LC after his front wing hitting the pit lane. He's basically lost the position to Hobbs and is getting a bit stuck behind Stanier now as well. He just can't get the move done. Stanier's just parking in the middle of the track with his old, worn, dead tyres at this point compared to the rest.
Yeah,
as Death Star has relinquished the lead of the race.
So that's going to be Death Star now in P2. Of course, he still has his pit stop. And LC, like you said, looking to make a move on Stanier. And Stanier's tires are just... That battling with Nemesis, it probably wasn't the best idea, as it probably added more unnecessary wear towards his tires. And, you know, Nemesis really wasn't his race, even though Nemesis did have to take that front wing change and cost him a couple of seconds there in the pits. But yeah, that battle between him and Nemesis, and now LC too, really he's wearing on his tires more than necessary. But he still has a good chance to bring home a lot of points for the McLaren team over in Woking.
Yeah, I mean, so far the theme of the race seems to be, for Povey at least, just don't make any mistakes. We've seen his two Aston Martin competitors make big mistakes leading to front wing damage, and he's kind of just given Povey, obviously, a 6-second lead at this point to Nemesis when he was on the verge of getting overtaken by LC at one point. Just no mistakes, bring the car home in one piece, and just put him in a prime position to win.
Yeah, and down here at the final points-paying positions, we're seeing a little battle develop between P10 and P8, although Speedy Boy has made his moves and he's on, looking forward to going up to Brinchel now, but having a little bit of a battle from our guest appearance from Racer, of course. Racer is a fantastic driver and is always happy and eager to drive, as Cameron Slater was looking to make a move in Bruxelles there earlier on in this sector, but he's going to have to wait for a little bit longer to make a move on Racer and maybe use a little bit of DRS, possibly on the Kimmel Straight, to be able to get a move done on Racer. But yeah, there was some fantastic three-wide action heading into the Combs there, as I try my best French accent for that corner.
You tried.
But yeah, this race is still, like Div 1, has done still providing a bunch of content for us here. Or sorry, not Div 1, Div 2 earlier today. Providing a lot of content all across the board. So very exciting stuff as we continue to ride on board with Cameron Slater in this closest battle between the final points paying positions there. With Racer subbing in, of course. And now that you guys might have noticed that the attendance man himself, Quimulus, is missing. This is only his second race that he's missed so far in FRS history. So it's a bit sad to see him not fighting up there with Brinchel and Hobbs van Nick, and well, with the mistakes that the Aston guys have made too. He would be fighting alongside LC and Nemesis as well. So yeah, disappointed, or not disappointed, sad to not see him here, because he's actually gotten some studio time, I believe, for his band. But anyways, yeah, we'll see him hopefully in 2 weeks' time when we go to a track that I don't
Canada.
remember. Canada, okay. As we go to Canada.
Yeah, obviously we've got a break week next week because of the Daytona 500. That is the reason why there's a break week. It's no other reason. It's definitely that.
Yeah, it's starting to settle down a little bit. Nemesis is starting to approach Death Star here. He's in the DRS range, so he'll be getting that on the start-finish straight and possibly on the Kimmel straight if he's not able to get it done as Death Star heads into the pits now.
Got some clean air, and he's got Povey to hunt down. He's brought down the gap a little bit. He'll obviously benefit from DRS there. He'll be wishing he could get it here as well. But yeah, he's just got to find a way. Povey just needs to bring the car home probably and just not pick up any penalties. I'll have a check if he's got the warnings. Surprise, surprise, he doesn't.
Of course, yeah.
We don't really have these in these races. We're just talking about warnings and penalties, though.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the theme of this entire championship. Is going to be who won the race on penalties. As Povey's teammate Brentshill is looking to make a move on Stanier on the Kimmel Straight. He was able to get it done, heading into Le Con.
That was so exaggerated.
Well, you know, last season I got in trouble for being too American with it, so this season I figure I'll get in trouble for being too French with it. So that's my thought process with it as I head to Non-Name Corner.
I didn't know.
I'm pretty sure that's French for a corner without a name. But yeah, Brentshill, the Williams, able to get that move done past Stanier now. As we saw Death Star dive into the pits for the setups off, and so maybe Stanier, seeing himself lose positions, might possibly be taking a hint as we have Death Star.
Death Star.
Death Star. As I pronounce his name, he's
killed the brake board. He's killed the brake board. We need a safety car. The brake board's injured. Bring the safety car out. Come on.
He's
around the end. Come on. Safety car. This is disgusting. People are in danger.
He's definitely struggling. That's a front end plate missing there on the right side. Front wing end plate there missing. As his tires just, again, when you spin out, your tires just absolutely die. As we see Stanier now diving into the pits. As I'd imagine he's going to be pitting some softs to be able to last towards the end of the race. Surprisingly, no safety car, even though we have had a couple of spins, a couple of retirements.
It would be a shame if there was a safety car, wouldn't there? God, that would be a disaster.
Then we could have a little Div 2 action again, a repeat of Div 2, and see who messes up and doesn't fit the soft tires to go till the end. But, you know, we move on. As everybody has finally made what will probably be their only pit stops of the race, of course, with a safety car. Who knows what will happen there. But yeah, MJ Povey doing a nice job. Looks like Nemesis isn't able to be making any inroads so far, but honestly, I think P2 for Nemesis would be an exciting result after his bad strokes of luck that he's had here throughout the seasons past. Of course, last season, barely even finishing in the points. So a P2 would be a huge improvement over the last time out that we were here. And we might see a little bit of battling going on between LC and Hobbs as well towards the end of this race as LC continues to just hang behind there.
As Nemesis has picked up his what's the word? I don't know. His automatic 3-second time penalty for the day.
Yeah.
He only had one warning last time I looked as well, so a bit out of nowhere. And they're all starting to tumble in now as the battle continues between LC and Habs. LC obviously is driving with something to prove. You know, he crashed in the pit lane, which is like the lowest of the low you can do really, and essentially took out any contention he had for the race win. So he's just got to go for damage limitation to pick up a podium.
He is doing a great job, along with Nemesis as well. That shouldn't go unnoticed. I mean, obviously, Nemesis likely to be on the podium here. But yeah, after Nemesis picking up that wing damage and having to be forced to pit early, he still made a great job out of it, as well as LC too. And as somebody who almost dropped it in qualifying today in the pit lane, I will say that it is a little bit tricky of a pit lane entry, as there's a bit of a drop off as you head into the pit lane, turning left there. There's a little bit of a dip, and so it's easy to three-wheel it with these cars. But yes, it is quite. As a driver, you're a bit mad at yourself when you do drop it in the pit lane where you really shouldn't be. So
yeah, we famously had a red flag in qualifying here a few seasons ago after Stanya crashed in the pit lane and blocked the entrance for everyone, so they started getting disqualified too. So yeah, there's some history with the pit lane here, but unless it's a safety car, then everyone should be right. Okay, I think it's just Racer who hasn't pitted yet. He's still on the mediums he started on,
and he's been doing a great job too as well. Keeping that gap maintained between him and Voki. Been keeping an eye out on him and the AlphaTauri. As we see a yellow flag for Voki, is that?
Safety car.
Oh, there's a safety car as the leaders pass by the pit lane. Who's going to dive in?
No, it's not a safety car.
Oh, you scared me.
I was looking for the safety car.
I thought you might have had a little bit of a quicker connection to MJ Povey, the host, so might have been getting some insider information.
The safety car's coming next lap. Oh yeah, Voki's got front wing damage. He's going to have to cut across the whole track here to get in the pit lane. Oh, he hit the wall on the inside going in. And we've completely... LC and Habs are fighting. They're fighting.
As LC's gotten the move done, but Hobbs has he had a better run, but LC just positioned his car in the right spot to be able to block Nick from getting any kind of run out of his great exit. So looks like LC had that move going in the making for quite some time, as we have both Astons now currently on the podium. As Nemesis has actually pulled the gap a little bit. Hasn't made too much of progress towards Povey ahead, but he has made progress to protect himself from that third place spot with his 3-second time penalty that he's picked up so far. So nice job by Nemesis as he continues to just kind of hang on to that P2 spot. And I'm kind of curious if there would be kind of any team orders between him and LC, because you're only talking about 3 points there. If LC does go ahead and get to that 3-second margin, that would strip Nemesis of his P2 and put him into P3. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, it's a 3-second point, or not 3-second, a 3-point difference between P2 and P3. I mean, is it really going to be worth it come towards the end of the season?
I think at this stage of the season, where even if Pebble wins here, he's still not going to be too far ahead. I think every point can matter towards the end of the season. You just don't know, because if you don't do the team orders and the championship is lost by like 2 points, then this would be one of the moments of like, oh shit, we kind of we bungled it here. As the fight continues between Habs and LC,
they continue
to show for everyone.
Yeah, they continue to trade blows as yet another late joiner to the season, Queasy Pluto, aka Speedy Boy. He makes a move on Brenshaw, picking up now P5, which would be a great points grab for his debut race for this season. So, but yeah, Hobbs Van Nick getting that move done. It looks like LC is just running a bit too much wing and isn't able to defend against Hobbs in some of the longer straights where you want more top end speed to be able to defend against them. So this track is definitely one of those where you want to spend quite a good amount of time in time trial figuring out exactly what kind of compromise you want to be making when it comes to your aerodynamics and tire pressures. As we see LC gaining a little bit more towards Hobbs Van Nick, but yeah, it's definitely a tricky one in terms of compromises with the aerodynamic setup for this race.
Alternatively, you could just go on the first YouTube set you find. Use that. That worked for me.
Exactly. I mean, there's plenty of good ones out. I think Nico Rosberg is on this game a couple of times or something like that. He probably has a couple of setups.
Sign him up to the league. I'm going to factory driving PC Div 1.
as we look again on the Kimmel Straight. LC looking to make a move on Hobbs, and he's able to get it done as Glaverino or
Glaverino, yeah, it's
somebody.
Glaverino. It's not. Don't know if it's self-enforced or not, but yeah, it's a bit of an uncharacteristic race for Glaverino. Someone we wouldn't normally associate with bringing out yellow flags and making mistakes.
Yeah.
So yeah, less than ideal.
Yeah, definitely not for the Ferrari guys. I believe that they are in for a shout in contention for the World Drivers' Champion or World Constructors' Championship. Yeah, they're currently sitting P3 behind Williams and Aston Martin ahead. Admittedly, they're a long ways back from P3, 47 points, but they're still there. A couple of mistakes from Brenshall or Povey, mainly Povey. Could hopefully.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? Mainly Povey.
I'm just saying, it would be a shame if Povey's wheel disconnected right now. I would be upset if Povey had more wheel problems. I would cry myself to sleep tonight if he just disconnected. Don't even think about it. That would be terrible. That would be terrible. Of course, I am not trying to commentators curse them as I speak to the esports F1 racing gods. I know, I was too, but I was trying to double jinx it. It's like reverse jinxing or something.
I'll reverse the reverse. As long as he's out, it doesn't matter. Just whip the wheels off.
Speaking of the Williams drivers, we have a nice battle shaping up there for P5, as it looks like, Speedy Boy. Brenshall getting moved on around the outside of Speedy Boy, as it looks like Speedy Boy is just trying to hold his line against Spin. He's just trying to maintain that P6 position. But again, this is going to be a great finish as we see. Who was that racer? Damage?
Race? I don't know, that was a bit of a weird one. Maybe, I'm going to speculate that maybe he was the person that spun Glaverino around and was giving him position back. That's pure speculation though.
As Queasy Pluto goes ahead and gets back that P5 from Brenshall there in the Williams. So yeah, we have a nice battle shaping up with 3 laps left to go, and of course we can't discount either that battle for the final podium position, as Hobbs, Van Eyck, and LC, neither of them have any kind of time penalties. So we're kind of seeing something similar to last season where everybody but 2 drivers picked up some kind of time penalties for track limits or collisions or what have you. So just, I hate to say it, but I'd expect one of these guys in battling for P3 probably going to pick up a time penalty. This is just the way the world spins these days.
Don't say it. I think we've got about 3 laps to go, and we haven't got the facts in yet. What are we doing?
I know.
I spent 20 minutes doing these.
There's been great racing throughout so far. So we'll go ahead. We'll ride on board. There's just not a good time. We're within 2/10 for as we see all these guys nearly going 3 wide into the bus stop chicane.
It's a bump and run. NASCAR meets F1. Spen just goes Brenshall, a little bump going into the corner. Tries to get a better run from him. As Brenshall's going to dive on the outside, we have a yellow flag. It's to his Voki.
There, as we saw again, Queasy not really putting up a fight into the airport. The Source, as they head to Europe and Réunion, but and towards the Kimmel Straight. But yeah, this has been a great fight so far between these final P5 positions, and of course we have Nick, who's looking to make a move. As Pluto easily gets
Everyone's looking to make a move.
As Pluto gets that move done, and is Spin going to be able to get there's a little bit of contact. Is he on my screen? It looks like his front wing is okay, but who knows what Cody's makes of it.
His pants aren't.
Man, what an incredible battle here that we have going on in the final races, and we still don't have a chance to get these Kim facts going as Hobbs.
We'll do them at the end.
As well.
Stick around. Spin's got a time penalty.
So Spin's picked up a time penalty. We have yet to see MJ Povey or LC or Hobbs Van Eyck pick up a time penalty to reflect last season's results, as Brenshall was looking to possibly make a move there into, was that Campos? Or was it Stavlo?
Compost.
one of the corners that I'm going to pronounce badly.
One of the corners that is on this track.
Exactly. As it looks like we're going to have yet another exciting battle, as we'll go ahead and pull up the penalties to see what kind of outcome. So yeah, it's just Spin who has the extra 3-second time penalty on top of his track limits violations.
He needs to just Big dive bomb. No. What's the point? What's the point of even racing?
It looked like Pluto got a little bit squirrely there with the rear, but he's able to hang on to that position now as those guys get DRS, but somehow Pluto has a better run, and it looks like he's actually going to defend this time. As no, Brinchill looking to make a move around the outside there
and
at the hairpin.
He was too cautious. He was too cautious going down, defending the inside. He basically just left the door open to go around the outside there for Brinchill.
We've seen him do that time and time again as they go too wide there. Spinwolf and Speedy Boy. It looks like Spinwolf got the move done there, as it looks like Death Star is retired from the
Death
session.
Star is.
Oh no, there's contact! There's contact between the McLaren and Haas drivers there on the Kimmel Straight, where you would at least expect it on this track. And while it looks like Stanier picked up no damage, it looks like, oh no, a Speedy Boy picked up that damage. And oh man, that is just terrible for the Haas driver. He was on for such a great finish. Whew, and it looks like we have another DNF, Cameron Slater. Everything's just unfolding now and unraveling here in the final 2 laps of this race. Oh, what? Oh, I gotta say, that was a bit aggressive from Spinwolf there.
Yeah, I mean, I was unfortunately on not the best angle for it. I was on board with Spen, so I just saw him just drift into the wall. But yeah, it's for a Speedy Boy. He's going to lose more. He's going to be. Oh, wow, he could. I think it depends how quick he gets back into the pits. If he decides to even go in the pits, being at the last lap, he's most likely going to drop to at least 10th, maybe 11th, depending on how quick he goes, what the decision is. I think he's got
somehow,
a pit, yeah.
Oh no, it's the other McLaren of Stanier who overtook Queasy. I thought that it was Spinwolf again, possibly making a mistake and now having to re-overtake Queasy. But yeah, it looks like that's going to be that battle done and dusted now. So we'll turn our attention to the final points paying position, as Hobbs Van Nick has been, I'd assume, just conserving his battery, looking to get a final lap attack on.
It's actually very round, really. Because LC's on 56%.
Oh yeah, as we see the flashing
drained.
lights.
Yeah. So I think as long as LC can bring it home, it should be fine with the battery differential.
And it looks like
Speedy.
Yeah,
he's
in pit lane. Got to go home and take that piece.
And old Voki is out. He's retired. Is Voki retired in the pits?
Another DNF. This is that's not the
Everyone's
pits.
got points.
Everyone's got points. Even though we didn't
Everyone gets a point.
Even as Hobbs Van Nick is just so close to the back of that Aston gearbox there. But yeah, it's such a similar race to last season where we had, who was it? Who was it? But we had 16 runners and only 11 finishers. So again, this time around, nearly 33%, a third of them DNFing, and so if you just finish, you get points. So yeah, it looks like Hobbs Van Nick is going to be a bit too far back this time around, I'd imagine, to be able to get a move done.
But no one cares, because we're on board with this. It's still going to be not quite a fight to the line. So it's well deserved from LC. He's recovered from his mistake in the pit lane, and he takes MP3.
Yeah, so we ended up with that Aston Martin 2-3, which will certainly help pad their lead in the Drivers' Championship some. But man, that was some. It was a dull race for the most part. Gaps were.
It had its moments.
Okay, yeah, it had some moments,
when
but then
happened.
At the end, all of a sudden, just everything lit off, and we just couldn't keep track of anything at that point.
Chaos happened.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let us get the facts in.
Yeah, we never got the facts in.
Stick around. They'll come as the podium celebrations are going off. I'll go through them. So stick around if you're still here.
As we have our debutante, Speedy Boy, Queasy Pluto, coming around the bus stop chicane as we're looking through the trees because Cody's figuring out camera angles. Crossing line there in P10. Extremely.
Story of what could have been.
Yeah.
For Speedy Boy.
It was such a good fight. It was such a good fight, and to see it end like that with some kind of contact again. Like you said, you were riding on board so you get the best angle. I was cutting back and forth from camera angles. I didn't see exactly what happened. What could have been, like you said. Man, as we see Stanier taking home driver of the day, and now we see it's becoming a common sight. The two Welshmen on the podium again. I don't know who Povi's racing under this time around. Don't know what flag that is. Not even going to pretend like I knew.
Oh, it's the same as last time. I can't remember what it is, though.
So,
damn.
So we had more retirements. It looks like we traded a retirement for one driver not picking up penalties this time around. So we took an extra retirement and one driver without penalties. As we see Povi being the race winner, Stanier taking a huge points finish there in P6, starting nearly dead last. And of course, I guess that just kind of naturally leads into who is your driver of the day, Kim?
I'm going to unorthodox racer on his Div 1 return comes home P8 from 14th, so he's going to get my driver of the day. Yeah,
that's definitely a good shout. Especially, I'd imagine that he's extremely rusty, and I wouldn't be surprised if he actually did a default setup. To be honest, so yeah, that'd be huge. And for myself, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Queasy Pluto, Speedy Boy. He was on for an epic finish. He would be around there P5, P6 there with Brinchel and Stanier, or Spinwolf, I guess, was who he was battling with. But yeah, to be in that position, especially on the alternate strategy, I believe he wasn't. But yeah, he had a fantastic race all the way up to lap 21 when just something out of his control took place. So, but yeah, and of course, this isn't a normal Xbox Div 1 stream if we don't get some Kim facts. So Kim, why don't you hit us with some more facts?
Thank you for sticking around. If you have, Belgium, it holds the world record for the longest period without a government. What was 652 days? They had the world record already, and they got beaten a couple of years ago by themselves. So yeah, that's fun for them. The national symbol is a pissing boy. It's called Mannequin Piss. If you want to Google that, have a fun time. They dress it up and everything. It's literally a little boy having a piss. It's like a statue. It's a really horrible thing to just see. They hold the world record for most micro cars in one location. So these are cars that are too small to go on the roads. So they have the world record for most micro cars in one location. They have a 70% divorce rate.
Oh my!
Yeah, that is just tragic, really. So. Don't get married in Belgium. It's home of the greatest podium in F1 history, and that's George Russell in 2021.
Yes, cannot forget about George Russell. That is exactly what I believe. That's why he ended up on the Mercedes team. That's what earned him his promotion.
Yeah, solely the reason.
If I'm not mistaken.
Antwerp is the diamond capital of the world. So if you want your diamonds, go to Antwerp. Belgian footballers are known for talking absolute shite to the media. I've got in brackets here Romelu Lukaku. So that one's fun. More than 800 beer brands are for sale in Brussels. So if you like your beer, 800 beer brands in Brussels. Then we've got the Turbo Fact, which is there's 30 different types of waffles sold in supermarkets. So if you like your waffles, then Belgium supermarkets, you know where to go. The final one we got, in the 1970s, light beer was served in schools. So if you're an alcoholic or a child, 1970s Belgium was the place where it was the place for you, really.
Well, that sounds
and
wonderful.
That is this week's Facts with Cam.
Is just on that last one, by chance did they get it back instated or something like that? Because I know during the pandemic,
they tried to.
It'd be a perfect time for this.
Well, they tried to get the beer instated when there wasn't a government, but alas, they didn't work out in the end. I'm not too sure what that says about the people who tried to get it instated, that they want their children drunk. So that's definitely a choice.
Oh boy! Well, we finally made it to the end of the race. Or the end of the stream. My goodness. Thank you for joining again, everybody who tuned in. And thank you, Kim, for not giving up and actually determining how to fix this problem that I kept having.
It was a team effort.
So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully I'll have my own problems sorted out here so we can get some neato graphics and what have you. But anyways, I'm an AWD Turbo Guy alongside Kim Rodelaws. Thank you.